Okay, everyone, let's get started. Okay, is everybody ready? Come on, everyone, we need to get started.
Everybody please take your seat.
Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. Let's get started. I mentioned to you all that there will be handouts that you can use. One of the articles that I wrote for Realtor.org talks about anti-burglary tips for your sellers. Within that article is where you're going to find the checklist. You don't have to write that down now. I'm going to make sure you have my website address, and you simply click on Real Estate Agent Safety, and all the forms that I talk about will be there for you in PDF format. So that will make it easy. What I wanted to do now is talk a little bit about some of the answers that you all gave regarding the real estate safety plans that you have in your office. Someone mentioned copying a driver's license. That's great. We're going to talk about an easy way to get that done. Probably the most important, the one that almost all of you all mentioned, was the red file, right? I've been doing this for a very long time. I get to go all over the country and talk about real estate safety. From North Dakota to New Jersey and California and Point, Texas, and points in between. Everywhere that I go to talk about real estate agent safety in groups just like this, people say red file. That's the distress signal, that's the code word, right? My point is, if I'm going all over the country, everybody in this room knows what a red file is. Do you think that the criminals might know too? And do you think if you're standing in front of a criminal and you're talking about a red file and they know what you're doing, do you think they're going to be happy with you? Let me tell you all a real-life red file story. And this happened in Missouri, in my home state. There was a real estate agent who had a new client. She was scheduled to show him about 3 houses that day. So when they got to the first house, he raped her. He said, we're going to the second house and we're going to do it all over again. She said, wait, I need to call my office to set up the second house to make sure it's okay to show. She called her office, the person answered the phone. She said, this is so-and-so, I need the red file. The person who answered the phone said, what are you talking about? She went to the second house, and it just so happened, coincidentally, that another agent showed up just to preview the property. So that agent walked in, she took off, got her car, and left. She left that agent with a rapist. I tell you that story to tell you that if you say your red file is your distress signal, you need to stop. That means red file, yellow file, whatever it is, the criminals are onto you. You need to find another way to do it. Some offices say, you know, I need you to tell me where something's located. Whatever your distress signal is, first and foremost, it cannot be a file or a folder. Secondly, everyone in the office needs to be trained on it. Everyone needs to know that there may be a distress call, and if it is, they need to know what to do. That means they need to know where you are. There has to be a system in your office to keep track of where agents are and the times you're supposed to be showing, or else that is simply a waste of time, and it could get you in more trouble. Again, I had agents tell me they simply text their location to wherever they're going to be, to whoever their contact is, a spouse, a friend. But if you're real estate agents in the office, if you all do this with each other, you need to make sure you have your phone out and handy. If you're the person who has your phone buried in the bottom of your purse and you don't get the distress signal till later on that evening, that's no good. So you need to make sure you have your phone out. If you know someone's showing property, you need to have your phone out in case they need help. And typically, I had an agent say this. She said, I will type in the address where I am and send it to someone, and I'll leave my phone open where it says help. Every single smartphone already has a built-in mechanism, and we're going to talk about that this afternoon. So you don't have to buy anything. Every phone has a way for you to get help. And then the app that Christy mentioned, that's another one, and I know it's GPS-based, and it allows you to push a button, and then a selected list of contacts will know your location and they can get help. But again, you have to have your phone accessible for that to even work. Okay, there is a proper way to show. How many of you all 100% refuse to go into a basement or an attic space with a buyer who just simply will not do it? You won't do it, you won't do it. Okay, I want to know first and foremost why you refuse to do it. Why won't you do it?
Mostly because of my health, sometimes I can't get down there. But more than anything, I just let them lead the way, and it just depends on what my gut's telling me.
Okay, so you're listening to your gut, and if your gut says it's okay to go, you can go. Tell me the reason that you refuse to show a basement or an attic space.
When I was purchasing my home before I became an agent, the young girl that was showing my husband and I wouldn't go into basements or upstairs with us, and we thought that was kind of odd. So about the fourth home in, we asked her, and she explained to me the reasons for her safety, and so I adopted that when I became an agent. That's the only reason.
Okay, thank you. Okay, but what if it's an attic or a basement space? Oh, you have something to say. What if it's an attic or a basement space and you pretty much need to show them what's unique and different about the property? We need to figure out if there's a safe way to do that. Yes.
I was going to say the reason I don't go is
The reason you don't go is what?
there's no exit. You're trapped.
You're trapped. Okay, so you're trapped. So the proper way to show, and this goes for attics, this goes for basements, any room in the house, bedrooms, let the client leave. Nothing should ever block your escape route. Imagine walking into a bedroom, your client comes in behind you, all of a sudden the door closes, you're trapped. Now you have to think, how do I get out of this room? How do I get out of this space, right? If the client is always leaving, nothing is between you and your escape route. Never, ever allow anyone to block your escape route. So clients always go first. You can stand in the doorway of the bedroom and say, there's the bathroom, there's a closet. You can walk into a room or a space with them, but you know that nothing is blocking your escape. So if you need to get out in a hurry, there's nothing stopping you. They're not in your way. So always allow the client to leave, and after a while it becomes second nature. How many of you all absolutely will not have your clients in the car with you no matter what, under any circumstances? Never ever? What do you say to your client? They say, oh, let's all go together. What is your reason to not let them in your car?
I just tell them my insurance won't cover me if I'm in an accident.
Right. Your insurance is an issue. It could be an office policy. It could be our policy, my policy, our safety policy. And like you said, insurance will not allow it. Let me see a show of hands of how many of you all will pick up a hitchhiker on the side of the road. There's always one in there. Yeah. Right there. I think we have two of them, right? Okay, so you'll do it. Will you do it nowadays? Even still? Okay, so you will. The rest of you all are looking at me like I have two heads, right? What a silly question. Who would do that, right? Let me see a show of hands of how many of you all has ever gotten a phone call from a new client you've never met who said, meet me at this property, and you showed up to meet a complete stranger in an empty house. Everybody raise your hands. Everybody. Because we've all done it. Every single person, right? Can someone tell me the safety difference between meeting a complete stranger in an empty house and picking up a complete stranger and having them in your car with you? Is there a safety or a danger difference? Are they equally safe? One safer than the other, one more dangerous than the other? Help me here. Are there one more safer than the other? So you think both are equally dangerous? Okay, and tell me what, oh, here's Mr. Hitchhiker Man. Tell me what you're thinking.
I still pick up hitchhikers because as a kid I hitchhiked all over the U.S. and Canada. But what the big difference is you need to be aware of the environment in which you're stopping to pick up a hitchhiker. And I think you need to be aware of the environment when you're letting somebody in the house as well.
Okay, thank you. And you survived, so obviously it worked out for you, right? Yeah. I was just so far. I was just in North Carolina, and one of the agents says that he picked up a hitchhiker, and when he said, I saw him, he was going where I was going, and when I dropped him off, I asked, where have you been? He told me he'd been in prison. So environment is important. You picked him up in an area where there was a prison. So environment, extremely important. How many of y'all take pictures of your clients on site if they don't come into the office? You go back to camera, take a picture of them, take a picture of their license plate or a picture of their driver's license. Anyone? Have you actually done that?
I don't take a photo because your phone.
Wait.
I don't take a photo. When I get to a property, I write down the license plate number and put it under my floor mat, so that my husband knows I do that.
So, okay, so your husband knows that you do it, so part of your safety plan is the license plate, and why do you not take a picture, just out of curiosity?
Because I probably have my phone with me when they take me. And they probably wouldn't take my car necessarily, but they could take me, and I have my phone on me.
Clever, very smart, very smart. Everybody hear that? Very smart. Okay, but you basically need to know who you're with, and you need to make sure there's a document. This is a topic that none of you all are going to listen to me. You're not going to do what I asked you to do, no matter what. You're not going to do it. And I'm probably wasting my breath on some level, but I'm going to give it a try. For some reason, real estate agents have a burning desire to have your pictures everywhere. I told you I have a twin sister, right? She's an agent. Our picture is on every Royals calendar, every Chiefs calendar she mails out, on her business card. Our picture's everywhere. Her business card is like, Stacy, why, oh why do you need to have your picture on your business card? Is it going to help you get more listings? Is it going to help you sell more houses? And her answer is, I am my brand. She's into the branding, and most real estate agents are. No matter what I say, she is going to continue to use her picture and to have it everywhere. And most of you will too. All I ask is that if you do so, will you please make it a professional picture? How many times have you seen the picture soft, fuzzy, looking over your shoulder picture? What are you selling? What are you selling? I had a broker manager hand me a business card with a full body shot. Do you think that's necessary in real estate? What I'm telling you is if you decide to use a picture, make it a professional picture, not a little selfie, make it a professional picture. I've seen some things. Probably shouldn't have to see, now I'm going to share them with you all. There is a group on Google Plus called Hot Real Estate Agents. Isn't it interesting? And I can't show you the rest of the pictures here. I can't show you the rest of them. And it's real estate agents who feel this is what they need to do to stand out, to get attention. The pictures are crazy. Can you all see that real estate agent on that billboard in the bikini? You see her billboard, it says, got real estate. Her website views went from 2,000 to 20,000, and she couldn't be happier with the results. Male agents do it too. You guys do it too. You need to be extremely cautious. I don't want to, no one's writing down anything, are they? Okay, but this real estate agent says, he said these days you have to do whatever it takes to make the phone ring. I was in Vegas and I was having, on this part of the conversation, I had a group in the back at a table and I called them glamazons, they're all dolled up and all that. And then she took exception, one of them took exception with my conversation. Why not use pictures, Tracy? That's how we make money, that's our business. That picture on the top left is what was on their business card. Can you all see that picture on the top left, the bodysuit picture? That's on their business card. This is their website. And you can't see it from here, but it says, for any of our angels, call our angel hotline, and there's a phone number. What kind of phone calls do you think they're getting? I am telling you there's already a target. Beverly Carter's murderer basically said she was a rich agent who worked alone. You all need to be extremely careful of the image that you're putting out there. So why do you put your pictures everywhere? Why? Why? Who has a picture on a business card? Raise your hand. Everybody. What about pictures on yard signs? That one you have to be a little more careful with because if there's a yard sign with a picture and you have a criminal driving down the street and you fit their profile, and I had an agent say, you know, my picture's everywhere. She said, but nobody wants me, I'm old and ugly. Has nothing to do with it. They're looking for something in particular. It could be someone older, it could be someone younger, someone with brown hair, blue eyes. They're looking for something in particular. They see your picture on the yard sign and everybody knows. All it takes is one phone call to get that person in that picture into the empty house. You all have said it. Everybody knows it, right? So you need to be careful. The pictures on the yard sign, you definitely need to reconsider. So you need to be very careful. Okay, there are certain words that you need to avoid when you are advertising a property. Certain words that criminals are looking for when they're trying to decide if this is going to be an easy setup with this real estate agent. Give me some of those words.
Secluded,
Secluded, give me a couple more.
private,
Say again?
private, secluded.
Private.
Yeah.
Isolated, right? So if they see that, they know they call you and you're going to meet them, and if you're going to be meeting them at a secluded, isolated place, it's going to make their jobs easier. You need to simply avoid those words. Some people refuse to do open houses. Some agents will not do it under any circumstances. Raise your hand if you will not do an open house. Oh, do you all do open houses to sell a house? Do you?
No.
Do open houses sell houses? No. Tell me why you do it.
To get leads.
To get leads, right? It's a business development tool. So you pretty much must do it. I talked to a bunch of new agents, some of them not under any circumstance will they host an open house. They're afraid. My sister used to say, I feel like a sitting duck. So some people won't do it, but some of you realize that you need to do it. And then right now, guys, we are on page 3, bottom of page 3, about to turn to page 4. So you need to take some precautions in order to make open houses safe. You typically go early enough to put your pointer signs on either side, put your pointer signs out. I say go a few minutes early, introduce yourself to the neighbors. Either side and across the street, knock on the door, hand them your business card, and invite them to come over for the open house. You're accomplishing more than one thing. One thing is you're letting them know that come take a look at the house, the time that they're there, less time that you're there alone, right? Secondly, a great business development tool. What if they don't know any other real estate agents? Now they know you know the area, they have your business card, you may get that phone call. And then they're witnesses, so ask them to keep an eye out. If they see anything that looks a little strange, a little off, then tell them if it doesn't look dangerous, if they wouldn't mind popping in, you'd appreciate it. If it looks dangerous, tell them to dial 911 and that you will deal with law enforcement officials. You need to do a security walkthrough. If it's not your listing, you need to make sure valuables are out of sight so that you don't get a phone call that evening. I went to an open house one time. In the master bedroom on the dresser, expansive display of expensive costume jewelry right there for the taking. Same house, 3rd floor, home office. On the desk was a bank statement, and on top of the bank statement was a debit card. If the sellers weren't sharp enough, their agent should have told them right up front, but we know the listing agent probably didn't. Before they leave, you need to let them know that they need to get valuables out of sight. How many times do they leave those little DVD players or little cameras all around the house, the tablets, the laptops, and they don't think twice about it? You need to tell them to get them out of sight. I had an agent who said she will not do an open house if they have that little butcher block in the kitchen with all the knives. Anything of value needs to go to storage or they need to hide it somewhere. Gun collections are a big deal, and I've been where Oklahoma, Texas, and it's like that's gun country. Everywhere is gun country now. Everybody, more and more real estate agents and more people have guns. So you need to tell your sellers to get the guns out of sight. I had an agent who took pictures of an open house listing, and the homeowners happened to have a gun collection. So, he included that room in the pictures. Everyone who showed up for the open house was there to see the gun collection, not the house. You need to be careful of the pictures you take when you're advertising an open house. So, nothing of value should show. Exits parking, you all know not to park in the driveway. That's the quickest and easiest way to get blocked in. You need to know your way out of a house in case of an emergency situation. What if someone is chasing you through the house or the house is on fire and you go to the back door and you find out that it won't open without a key? So you need to know in advance how you're getting out of the property. Emergency contact, make sure someone knows you're there and that you can talk to them, you check in with them on a regular basis. Your valuables. I can't tell you how many times I have seen real estate agents greeting people in the living room, walk into the dining room or the kitchen, look on the counter, look on the table, and what do you see? Purses. Purses, sometimes laptops, sometimes tablets, right there for the taking. Any valuable needs to be out of sight. So you need to make sure you leave it in the car. If you need it, walk out and get it and bring it back in. But anything of value needs to be out of sight. We're turning to page 4. And again, you make sure if it's not your listing that you talk to the sellers, but if you're hosting someone else's open house, you need to make sure they're prepared. Fair Housing Discrimination Act. Now, this is a scary one. You have to let people in the house. I was in North Dakota, and I had an agent. She was very forceful. She said, look, If someone's coming to an open house, I have no choice, I have to let them in. I said, what if you feel that you're in danger? She said, I don't care, it doesn't matter, I have to let them in, or else I could get in trouble. Is that true? If you feel that you're in danger, are you forced to allow them into the house? Yes or no?
No.
Are you shaking yes or no? You?
No, I'm not.
No, absolutely not. Your safety is most important. You have a right to say no, you have a right to get out of that dangerous situation. I have got 2 examples here, and in these examples, it just so happens that the agents are female, and it just so happens that maybe would-be perpetrators are male. But you need to keep in mind that perpetrators come in both genders. A lot of times you think, oh, it's a couple, you know, everything's fine. Remember Beverly Carter. Sometimes you think, oh, it's a family, I don't have anything to worry about. Criminals don't care. They do whatever it takes to make you comfortable. So this first agent said that she sits where she can see people as they approach. He said, Tracy, I know I can't tell if they're good or bad just by looking at them. She said, but I want to get a feeling for who they are, just a feeling. So she said a late model car pulled up. A guy got out, he was nice and clean cut, and she said, I had an overwhelming feeling of fear. I knew something was wrong. She got up and she locked the door. So he rings the doorbell, he knocks on the door, and she's screaming through the door, I'm closed. He said, no, you're not. I just saw people leave. She said, but I am closed for the day. Right now, I'm closed. She waited till he left, she locked up, and she got out of there. Now, what if she would have waited for someone to come along who looked okay? Could she be accused of discrimination? Yeah, she was closed to everyone else for the rest of the day. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So that's what she did to protect herself. I had another agent, she said, I had a feeling, it wasn't an overwhelming feeling, she said, but when I saw that guy pull up, I knew something. Again, late model car, again, clean cut, nice looking guy. She said, I told him to go inside, look around. She said, I'm going to step out on the porch and make a phone call. She stepped out on the porch on a fake phone call, and she said, yeah, she gave directions to the house where she was. So he heard her giving directions to someone to come there. So there's nothing he can do. He walked out of the house, walked past her on the porch, got in his car and left without saying a word. He wasn't there to see the house, was he? Absolutely not. What happens if you're in a situation where you don't quite feel that overwhelming feeling, but you know something's wrong? You have them come in and sign the guest register. If they're criminal, of course they're writing down false information. But what you're doing is you're getting a description of them to give to law enforcement officials. You're not looking for a red baseball cap they can take off. You're looking for distinguishing characteristics. It could be, we talked about tattoos, it could be a tattoo, it could be a mold, any kind of feature, anything, eye color, hair color, height, weight, information to give to law enforcement officials. The make and model of the car if possible, and then you need to let them know that you're not alone. There are only certain circumstances where you can tell a little bitty lie in real estate. That's, for example, what my insurance company won't allow it, whatever it takes. The situation, here you go. You say, look, I've got someone out back walking around, or I've got someone in the basement, I hope they don't startle you. You need to give the impression that you're not alone. But let's say it's obvious that you're alone and you can't get away with that story, then you need to let them know that you won't be alone for long. You can say, look, there's another agent coming, and I want to make sure they don't get in your way. I'm still here to answer questions. I've got an agent, a family coming to look at the house. They've got 4 kids. They're kind of noisy. You may want to look before they get here. Do what it takes to give the impression that you're not alone or that you will not be alone for long. Again, criminals are cowards, and they do not want they don't want the confrontation. They don't want the potential witnesses. Okie dokie. So we are on page 3. We're on page 4 now. Okay, let me check our time.